Quay thì không quay được, đây đang quay đấy. Đeo mà ứng dụng. Em biết về gì Úc? Phượng nói.
Tell me three things you know about Australia. Three things.
Friendly.
Friendly. Yeah. So we've got kangaroos, Opera House, Harbour Bridge. Friendly people. Các em cố gắng nói tiếng Anh nhé.
There are five cities for students. It is best
Which cities? Melbourne, Sydney. The main cities for international students are Sydney and Melbourne. They're the two main ones where the students can study and there's more work. When you come to Australia, you are restricted in the amount of work that you can do while you're studying. Okay, but they're the two main cities where you will get work easily or easier. Okay, Sydney and Melbourne. Sydney. Yeah. There are three schools that Mr. Charles has. One has IT, which is the one you have. Two others have, one has management, the other one has management and IT. And also marketing, yeah, English language, business, those sorts of things, yes. So, but right in the middle of Sydney.
Can you introduce kind of jobs can we do in Australia?
Can you jobs?
Suggest the job.
Yeah, a lot of people get jobs in restaurants because there's quite a lot of Vietnamese restaurants, Thai restaurants, things like that. So students will work in restaurants. Where else? Takeaway.
Usually restaurants.
Yeah, usually restaurants. Yeah.
Lots of restaurants in Melbourne. Lots of restaurants.
That's all. Thank you.
That's very good. Your English is very good. You're very brave.
Okay? Sure. 3 weeks.
Wow. Very good. What about some of the other things you know about Australia? Or do you know anyone who lives in Australia? Yeah?
Australia is the best, the happiest country.
You think so?
See, we
Then we saw the news that Australia is the happiest country in the world.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's good.
Right?
So you happy?
Yeah, no, it's good. It has a very good standard of living. Okay, it has clean air. Clear. Yeah, clear, you can see everything clear. People don't wear hats. No. You can drink the water straight out of, you don't need a bottle, you can drink straight out of the tap. Because it's clean. Yeah. So it's a bit different to other countries. Yeah. So, because, I mean, people do have it in a bottle, but it's free in Australia. You don't need a bottle. You can drink it straight out of a tap. Yeah. So, as I said, the air is clear. Everything you can see. And I said, you don't need masks. So it's a bit different to other countries. So, transportation. Yeah, it's good transportation. Sydney is one of the best for international students. Transport everywhere, trains, buses, those sorts of things. And also, you should understand, Australia actually has quite a large Vietnamese community. There's been Vietnamese people coming to Australia since the 70s. Yeah. So quite a few Vietnamese restaurants, bakeries shops, bread shops, Vietnamese bread shops. Perfect. Yeah, really nice. The best.
Bài của người Việt Nam ở Sydney. Bakery shop, bakery.
Yes.
Restaurant.
So you find people who speak your language as well as you speaking English. So you must study hard. English is quite difficult to learn. You think?
Tôi nghĩ là Anh nó khó. Difficult but interesting.
Interesting?
Difficult but interesting.
Good. That's a good thing.
Also says so. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, hard but interesting.
Yeah.
And he's happy to learn.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep, no, that's excellent. Very good. Because you've got to understand too that English, unfortunately, is the language of the world. Now. Yep.
Yes. Can you tell me about the people in Sydney, our member?
The people?
Yes.
Yeah, Australians are quite friendly. You know, say hello to people. But Australia is very multicultural as well. Australia has people as well as Caucasians. There are people from all parts of Asia, Europe. So there are many migrants.
Yes. I think the people in Australia are very helpful and friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mostly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they are, but it's like anywhere else.
Yes.
Yeah. But as I said, it's very multicultural. There are people from all over the world. Australia is a country basically of migrants. Very
Đất
like
nước đa văn hóa
multiculturalism.
rất nhiều cái người nước khác đến sống ở như là châu Á có rất nhiều như là người Đài Loan
But where was he born?
Taiwan.
I don't tell them. Yeah. So there's many people in Australia born overseas, but are now Australian. Okay, if you come to Australia, you work, you study, if that's what you want to do, then that could be part of your future as well. Depends on what you want to do. How many of you want to get a job in Australia or want to work in Vietnam?
Mọi người muốn sau khi học xong thì sẽ làm việc ở Úc hay là quay trở lại làm việc ở Việt Nam?
I want to stay in Australia.
You want to stay in Australia? Okay. He's practically Australian.
Yes.
He's very Australian.
Excuse me, can you talk me about the culture?
The
Culture.
The culture.
The culture.
The culture.
Yes.
Sport.
Sport, yeah.
Sport. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand our sport.
I know Harry Kewell.
You know
Harry Kewell.
Harry Kewell, the soccer.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Brattle.
Wow.
Brattle.
Very impressive.
Yeah. He's
I
soccer.
didn't know.
And Australia's got to the World Cup.
Yes, but I
But we're last. We're
Yeah,
pretty low.
they are Liverpool to play.
What was that?
Full street.
No. Do you know the football
The
club?
football.
Liverpool football club in
Liverpool.
UK.
Oh, that's in the United Kingdom. Yeah, that's nothing to do with it.
But they are players.
Yeah. So Australia's played lots of sport.
Yes.
Some of those sports you wouldn't know, like cricket, but Australia's played basketball, football, swimming, go to the Olympics. Yeah, so sport is a big part of Australian culture.
Okay, but I want to ask you about the culture.
Spell it.
C-U-L-C-U-R.
Culture.
Yeah, culture, that's what I'm saying. Sport is a big part of the culture.
Oh, that is kind of
Yeah, but we want to ask you about other culture.
Other culture.
Other culture.
Yeah.
What's so movies?
I think what trying to the level is asking about how Australian people are like. I guess.
Yeah.
How environment are like. I guess the answer is that Australian culture is just laid back.
Yeah, Australians are very relaxed.
Relaxed.
Yeah. Originally the culture is from Britain, but then more so since the 40s, a lot of American culture, but now Australian. But Australia, as I said, from all over the world, multicultural. So that's very relaxed. Don't worry, that sort of thing.
Và sau đó là người Mỹ bây giờ thì rất lớn văn hóa Mỹ.
What was that?
Multicultural and how Britain comes to
Yeah.
Australia and America.
It's very difficult to just say what Australian culture is like. I mean, what is Vietnamese culture like? How can you just explain it really quickly?
Walk.
Yeah, but there's a French influence in Vietnam. So you've got a French influence in Vietnam, Australia got a British influence. But we have, people from Europe, Asia, everywhere. It's not just, most people in Vietnam would be Vietnamese. So many people in Australia, I think about 25% born overseas, somewhere else, and come to Australia. So that's why the culture is, and it's very relaxed. So, and also too, we are not allowed to discriminate against anyone. But we're not allowed to treat people differently because they look or they are different. That's against the law. So those sorts of things are very strong in Australia.
Nghĩa là không cho phép cái việc phân biệt chủng tộc, mọi người sẽ không bị đối xử về mà họ kể cả em đến các em đến bất kỳ đâu thì mọi người đều đối xử với em như nhau, một sự phân biệt đối xử nên là sự việc là không diện.
Pardon? Yes, we're not allowed to just choose someone for a job because they look different or they. We were talking about if someone applies for a job, we can't ask for a photo, a photograph.
Yes.
We're not allowed to do that. So we're not allowed to treat people differently because they are different to like a Caucasian. Yes. So that sort of discrimination is against the law. When you work, the government sets a minimum pay rate. That's law as well. So, you know, if you work in a restaurant and they say, oh, we'll give you this much, the government say, no, you can't have, you must have that much. So those sorts of things, it's very, very legal. So, yeah. Okay. You want to talk to us?
Bởi vì một ví dụ của việc là không phải đối xử đấy là khi mà sinh viên thì các em phải yên tâm là các nhà tuyển dụng sẽ không được phép đòi ảnh của các em để tránh trường hợp là phân biệt giữa người nọ người kia, người này người khác. Cái thứ hai là một cái mức lương theo từng giờ của các em đã được chính phủ quy định rất là rõ ràng trong luật, vì vậy mà những cái nhà tuyển dụng, các cái ông chủ của em sau này thì sẽ không được phép trả thấp hơn cái mức của pháp luật. Để ra là cái yên tâm là sẽ
Free. Yeah. Any other questions? Do you know any Australian movies? Have you ever seen an Australian movie? What about Crocodile Dundee? Or Finding Nemo? Really? See that?
Finding Nemo from Australia.
Australia?
No, it's the family in Australia.
Yeah.
Happy Feet?
Happy Feet, Finding Nemo, those sorts of movies made in Australia.
Girl from the sea, they know it from years ago.
What's that?
Is it from the ocean?
Home and away. Home and away.
Something.
Girls from the ocean.
Like 20 years ago. Favorite movie of all kids in Vietnam.
Favorite movie of all kids? What's it about?
It's a girl living under the sea.
Like a mermaid.
Yeah, but she comes to the land and makes friends with other people.
That's not Australian.
And go adventurous.
Wow, not Australian movie. Not the American movie.
Yes. Could you tell me about the policy society of Australia?
About the
policy society.
political or policies? Politics or like government or what do you mean? Policies or politics? Politics. Yes, I studied politics.
Welfare policy.
Okay, welfare policies. That is one thing Australia has that you probably don't have here. We have very, very good welfare system in Australia. Yeah. If someone is unemployed, okay, if you haven't got a job, the government, and you are over a certain age, let's say you are 18 and above, and you don't have a job, the government actually pays you some money, okay, to help you get a job. Okay, so those sorts of things. If you are older and you don't work anymore, you're too old to work, the government pays you to work. Other countries don't have that. Okay, you want to go to the doctors? When you're a student, you have to pay. Okay, you pay overseas health cover. But people like me, I don't have to pay. I have a card and I just show it. So if I have to go to the hospital or a doctor, like once you become an Australian, permanent resident, you know, whatever, you don't pay. You have access to the medical system in Australia. I don't, what's it like here, I'm not sure. But there are lots of things like that Australia has. We have a very, very good social welfare network. We don't have many people living on the street.
Yes.
Because we, as I said, the government does provide money for people who can't earn money themselves. If they're sick, or they just don't have a job, or you might be married, not married, but you might have 2 children. He was your husband, but he ran away. Okay? The government will provide you money for you and the 2 children. You go away. They give you money too if you go away. They do. So they do. There is a big, as I said, social security and social network that helps people in Australia. That is not the same in other countries. Like I know people in America. You right there? People in America, if you can't work, that's it. You can't eat, you can't work. What happens here in Vietnam if you don't have a job? What happens?
Okay, I have some questions.
Yep.
I have questions. We know that IELTS 5.5 is a requirement for us.
Yep.
But if after 1 year learning English in Australia, like the program said that, but some of the people, we can't get 5.5 IELTS. So do you, the school, support something for us to take another English course?
If they've been there for over a year and they still can't get past IELTS 5.5, then they're not going to get anywhere, really. But you'll have to, the school will help in any way they can, but it's up to the student as well to get their English up.
Yeah.
See, practically speaking, most of people were able to achieve the level if they study for 1 year in English in Australia, practically speaking. If they can really study hard. However, talking about IELTS, not everyone actually going to sit in the IELTS test. They do actually placement test, you get to college, or placement test to go to uni, or interview to go to uni. So when you say IELTS, when you say student want IELTS results, maybe there's a only chance when the student they are want to go to university, and the university want to see the piece of paper on the IELTS results. Otherwise, it's very unlikely the student could fail in Australia because I found IELTS result and I have no school to study. It's very unlikely. So it depends what level you're going to use your IELTS results. For the visa requirement, I say it might be, they only ask 4.5 against to get a visa.
Yeah. Visa, they just ask 4.5.
Yeah, depends if you go to vocational, going to college, or going to universities. See, most of universities will ask for IELTS 6.0 at least. If you want to go to bachelor degree, you apply for master, they ask for 6.5. So it really depends, like how you're using that. For students, some students they say, I don't have 5.5, maybe I'm only 5.0. Well, they still the college accepting student like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Nghĩa là nếu như mà khi mà sang bên đấy mà các em nào đạt được 5.5 thì đấy là dành cho điều kiện cho những bạn mà muốn có những chương trình học cao hơn, và trường nó yêu cầu các bạn phải show ra cái certification của cái chứng chỉ đó. Còn với những bạn ví dụ như là chúng ta đi làm thì không biết là phải đạt được 5.5. Còn nếu không thì hầu hết mọi người khi mà xong thì đấy là sau 1 năm ấy thì họ cũng
em ơi, nghĩa như là để các em học bên đấy để điều kiện để xin visa thì không cần phải 5.5 IELTS, nhưng mà
cầu để cử nhân hoặc thạc sĩ là 6.5. Tuy nhiên các em là chưa đạt được cái trình độ này thì các em vẫn có thể học qua cái trường học tiếng Anh để đạt được cái trình độ khóa học tiếng Anh để trình độ tiếng và các em sẽ đạt được cái này. Theo cái chương trình của này là chưa đạt và học tiếp tiếng Anh 6 tháng.
It gives me, if I have already had IELTS 5.5, can I study major right or after I finish the school, or I have to take 6 months to study English?
If any student already have house results and shows a 5.5, then of course you can go directly to any vocational schools like Winsor Institute. Entry requirement is 5.5. However, if you, as I'm saying, you apply for uni, you will look for 6.0 for bachelor course. So to answer your question, if any student already have our result, do I need to study English? The answer is no. If your English our result is already 5.5 then, no. To go to any vocational, you don't need English.
Yeah, because they assume if your English result is 5.5 and you go into vocational, they assume that your level will go up to the equivalent of 6 while you're studying vocational. So that's fine, and then you can go through to university. But if you want to go directly to university, you must have a 6 because they assume that you'll fail if your English is too low. So, but if you go into vocational, because you're learning in English, your English is improving anyway. So that's the theory behind it. Okay?
Em đã số điểm 5.5 và em vào học trường nghề của ông ấy thì trong quá trình học trường nghề thì cái tiếng Anh của em nó sẽ phát triển lên để sau đấy trong quá trình học trường nghề thì cái số tiếng Anh của em nó sẽ lên trong không cả sau đấy sẽ là cái đại học.
Là chỉ có 120 rồi là 6 chấm này là hội thảo của 6 này.
But very good, you're asking very good questions. Very good, you're very interested.
Will you take her?
Yeah, we'll take you. Yeah. so you don't have to marry me.
After graduate school, which job can I find?
The jobs. Yeah. You can't tell anyone when you come to Australia, you cannot keep asking questions about jobs. Okay? They will say, go home. Your purpose to come to Australia, as far as the government is concerned, is to study, not work. You want to work? They say stay in Vietnam and work. But you can't keep asking about jobs. Although you can work, legally you can work. That's not a problem, but you can't keep asking. You can't keep speaking about work. If you go to the Department of Immigration, don't talk work.
I want to
Talk study. Okay?
Đi vào các bạn là cái phần 2 thì ông sẽ trả lời em về công việc nói về những cái gì bài đó là khi mà nói chuyện với đại sứ quán thì hoặc là các em tức là không nên hỏi quá nhiều về công việc cả bà như thế là họ sẽ nghi ngờ mình sang đấy ngoài mục đích học thì mình làm việc họ sẽ không có để đó họ chỉ biết mục đích của mình sau đấy là họ
cả 4 người nhé.
còn nếu mà biết là mình sẽ có khả năng là sau này tìm việc và ở lại thì họ sẽ không đồng ý với các em có thể là các em đến lúc nên là mình rất là cẩn thận về cái đó.
They got chairs, jackets on.
Excuse me, in the chat, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, yes, we has a class usually for ship 1, ship 2, ship 3. I think you have a timetable on the brochure about it. Usually in the orientation, students choose by themselves. Students choose by themselves, so you choose by yourself. Yeah. The only risk, it could be a possibility, like the certain course doesn't open for all the ships. It might be only ship 1 and ship 2 for you to choose.
I want to choose ship.
Yeah, we offer you the option to choose maybe this class we enroll for IT software development. We give you 2 choices, ship 1 or ship 2. Your decision to choose. But sometimes students say, I want ship 3. Sorry, we only have 2 classes for you to choose. So we give you your choice, but doesn't mean every course we have all the choice. You see what I mean? Yeah. But you're making your own decision to choose your class. Okay.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
So, no more questions for me now?
No, stay.
No, I'm going to talk to the students. Yeah. So, any other questions for me now? So, well, why don't you close the door?
It's cold.
It's cold, okay. Yeah. So, anyone have any question you want to ask about Australia, the living in Australia, the work in Australia, the study in Australia? Feel free to ask any question.
I think that the students, they're not very good at English, so could you...
They're good. They're intermediate
Yeah.
level already. Yeah.
I say, could you please speak
Okay,
speak
slow.
slowly?
Okay,
Yes,
I'll speak slow. Of course, of course.
Các em có thể hỏi tất cả những câu hỏi mà cô trò đã chuẩn bị qua các bạn. Tôi xin sẽ giải đáp các từ đó.
See, let me have a short brief about introducing myself. Well, my name is Charles, as you all know, and I own 3 schools in Sydney. 3 schools, Winsor is one of it. The other school called Business Institute of Australia, we offer business course. The other school called Warwick Institute of Australia has a combination of business and IT. Okay? I was like you guys when I was 16 years old. I was born in Taiwan and I come to Australia to study. I worked as well while I was studying. So, any question you guys have in mind, they are all experience of mine as well. I've been stubborn through all the queries on why you guys been worried. My mom sent me to Australia to study. I studied from year 10. Year 10 is like senior high school, year 1. Year 1 senior high school. And I stayed by myself, no family. I did a homestay. I traveled by myself to school. And after class, I go work, I go play sports. Finish high school, I go to uni, finish master, and I work in Australia. Now I have my own business in Australia. So, any question you guys want to ask? Yeah, I can use my life experience to answer you. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you see last.
Ông ấy là hiệu trưởng của 3 trường đại học, có một trường là về kinh doanh và một trường là kết hợp giữa kinh doanh và cả IT. Ông ấy sinh ra và ở Đài Loan và ông đến Úc cũng như các bạn là bắt đầu học và ở homestay, tức là ở nhà địa phương ấy. Rồi sẽ cũng phải tự đi học, tự đi làm. Nói chung là tất cả mọi thứ là bắt đầu từ số 0 hết. Nên là ông ấy hiểu cái hoàn cảnh của các bạn. Bây giờ các bạn có thể hỏi ông ấy những cái câu hỏi mà rất cái câu hỏi mà các bạn muốn về học tập, về làm việc, về trường của ông ấy.
I would like to ask you a question. What part-time jobs can we do? You will help us to find a job, or we do it. We have to do it ourselves.
Okay. Usually, when students come to Australia, they study, they find a job, and usually students find a job themselves. But between the relationships with the school and the TMS, well, we've been giving our service to helping students to find a job. To find a job in Australia was easy to get.
Thường là các học sinh từ điểm một thì các bạn sẽ học, các bạn sẽ làm việc, và thường thì là công việc đó là do các bạn tự tìm. Nhưng mà bởi vì trường của ông Charles và TMS có quan hệ với nhau và đã hợp tác với nhau, nên là tất cả các sinh viên của TMS sẽ được trường giúp đỡ tìm việc.
Yes. So, what sort of job? To answer someone, yeah, you just ask him what sort of job can you find? Well, restaurant is number one job in Australia.
Làm việc trong các nhà hàng.
Okay. Yep. And okay.
Mức lương sẽ khá tốt.
Every salary you told me that go up to $15 Australian dollars. Go up to 15 per hour.
10 đến 15 đô một giờ trong công việc đó.
Yeah, and usually students can legally work maximum 20 hours, but lots of students work for 40 hours. Depends how the owners operate per week.
Thường thì các sinh viên sang Úc thì nếu mà đúng luật ra ấy, thì chỉ được làm việc 20 giờ một tuần thôi, nhưng cũng có rất nhiều sinh viên có thể làm thêm chung thì có thể làm tới 40 giờ một tuần, và trường cũng sẽ
always keep in mind when you have a student visa, legally working 20 hours a week.
Các bạn nên nhớ là rất là phải cẩn thận, bởi vì các bạn có làm thêm giờ thì cũng rất là cẩn thận, bởi vì trong giấy tờ, nhất là trong cái student visa của các bạn, là visa sinh viên của các bạn chỉ được phép làm 20 giờ thôi, nên
khó khăn hơn.
nói chung là mình
physically you can work 40 hours.
Ly ơi, Ly dịch nhầm không đấy, ý ông đấy là theo visa thì là 20 giờ theo luật